Hello everyone and welcome to FreeCAD tutorials. In this tutorial, we explain how to model gears and create gear assemblies in FreeCAD. Let's immediately start. Over here you can see a pinion, that is the smaller gear, and the larger gear, which is simply called as gear. When I move the pinion, the rotational motion of pinion is transferred through the gear assembly to the larger gear. By using the model presented in this video tutorial, you can easily build a gear reducer or a similar mechanical device. To be able to model gears in FreeCAD, we first need to understand the gear geometry and basic formulas. Consider this figure. The smaller gear is called as a pinion and the larger gear is simply called as a gear. Every gear has its center point. The center point of pinion is C1 and the center point of the gear is C2. The pitch radius of pinion is denoted as R1 and the pitch radius of gear is denoted as R2. The distance between C1 and C2 is denoted by S, and obviously S is R1 plus R2. Gears are characterized by number of teeth. The number of teeth of pinion is denoted as Z1 and the number of teeth of gear is denoted as Z2. When a user wants to design gears, he or she starts from the gear ratio. The gear ratio is defined as the ratio of Z2 and Z1. For example, if you want to have a gear ratio of 3, then Z2 has to be, for example, 30 and Z1 has to be 10. The next number that's very important for the gear design is the gear module M. The gear module M is used to define, or better to say, to calculate the pitch radius. We have that R1, that is this radius over here, is simply module multiplying Z1 over 2. Similarly, R2, that is this radius over here, is module multiplying Z2 over 2. So when a user wants to design gears, he or she will start from the gear ratio, then he or she will fix number, for example, of Z1 or Z2, and then it will calculate Z1 or Z2 depending on the number being fixed by using the gear ratio. Then he or she is going to select the gear module. Gear module is usually selected on the basics, on the stress, strains that the gear has to sustain, and then we can compute R1 and R2 and as well as other geometrical parameters which are not given over here. Namely, you also have a distance, the height of the gear, the pitch, and all sorts of things. However, all these geometrical parameters are functions of M, Z1, and several others. As you will see later on, when we design gears in FreeCAD, we will specify number of teeth, and we are going to specify gear module as well as some other parameters. So let's start. Once you open FreeCAD, click on File, then click on New, and then over here, let's start with modeling. Click on Unnamed, then click on Part Design, and click on Create Body. Then do the right click, and over here, let's click Rename, and let's call this as Pinion. That is, this body will represent our smaller gear. Next, let's click here, and then let's create our gear. Click on Part Design, and click on Involute Gear. And here's our involute gear. Let's specify the number of teeth to be 10, and let's leave module as well as other parameters to its default value. And let's click on OK. Next, double click on pinion and make sure that the pinion is green. Then click on involute gear and then click on this icon to extrude. Let the extrusion distance be 10 and click on OK. Next, let's create a hole that will be used for the rotational joint or revolute joint. To do that, click here on the pinion, click on Add Sketch, and select XY plane, and click on OK. OK, then click on Close. Then do the following. Click this top face, then click here, Expand, and click on Attach Sketch. From the drop-down menu, click on Sketch, and click on OK, and click OK. Then double-click on Sketch, and then let's create a circle. Let's click here to create a circle with the center, and let's specify the diameter to be 10. Then do the right click, close. Then select this circle or you can simply select sketch, and then over here you can select hole. Then specify the diameter of the hole to be 10, and let's specify the other values as default. And now we have created our pinion. Good. Next, let's click over here to make the pinion invisible, and let's click on unnamed. Then let's do the following. Then click on part design and click on create body. Then do the right click over here and do rename, and let's call this body as gear. Make sure that gear is selected and it's green. Then let's again create gear, click on part design, click on involute gear. Then let's specify 30 here as Z2. In this way, we have specified the gear ratio of 3. Let's click on apply and let's click on OK. And the next step is to extrude this. To extrude this, make sure that gear is green. Click here. Then again, click here to extrude, and let's keep the default value of 10. Click OK, and that's it. Next, let's add the hole here. To add the hole, click here. Then click on create sketch, select XY plane, click OK, click close, and you will see sketch 001. Then let's attach this sketch to this top face. Click on the top face, click here, and click on attach sketch. And from the drop-down menu, click on sketch 001. Click on OK, click OK, and now we have attached the sketch 001 to the top. Double click on sketch. Let's create a circle by clicking here, create circle by center, click here, and let's specify this to be 10. Again, let's do the right click, let's do close, and now click on this sketch, then click on create hole, and then again, let's specify the hole diameter to be 10, press enter, and now we have created the hole which will be used for the revolute joint. Good. Next, let's click here to make gear invisible, and let's create our base. To create the base, again, click on part design, then click on, part design, create body, do the right click, rename it as base. And let's continue. Next, we need to create the base. To create the base, first create a sketch by clicking here, select XY plane, click on OK, and let's create the base. First of all, activate the grid, and then let's draw a rectangle. Click here and click on centered rectangle, and let's specify something like this. Let the width be, for example, 160, or width be 20, and the height be 160. Click OK and do the right click. Over here, in order to make this video tutorial as brief as possible, I'm not going to constrain all the dimensions. However, you can do that very easily. So let's add circles, or actually not circles right now. We have to close this and we need to extrude. To extrude, make sure that base is selected, then click on extrude, and let's extrude, for example, for, let's say, 7. Click OK, and that's it. Next, let's create supports for the revolute joints. To do that, make sure that base is selected. Click on create sketch and click on XY plane, click OK, click close, and let's attach this plane to this top face by selecting the top face. Then over here from the drop-down menu, you can click on attach sketch, and then over here click on sketch 003 and click OK, OK again. And if you double click now on sketch, you will be here on the top face of the base. Click here to activate the grid, and let's add the 2 circles. Over here, we can click on create circle by center and put the circle over here, or let's say over here somewhere, and specify here 10. Okay, do the right click, and then let's create another circle over here by repeating the procedure. Do it somewhere over here, and then let's specify this to be 10. Okay, now we have 2 circles, and now we need to properly constrain the distances between the centers of these circles. For that purpose, we need to go back and look into our equations. We need to specify the distance to be equal to s, and s is equal to r1 plus r2. Consequently, we need to compute r1 and r2 by using these formulas. In my case, I wrote a simple Python script that uses MZ1 and Z2 that we used in simulations, and then I calculate R1 and R2, and finally I calculate S. And if I evaluate this, I will see that S is 50. Consequently, going back to FreeCAD, I have to make sure the distance from here to here is 50. Let's do that. Click on this circle over here, or better to say on the center, this point, then press and hold Control and click on this point over here. Then over here, click on Constrain Vertical Distance and enter 51 here. The reason for entering 51 is that I want to have more space between gears, such that I have more breathing space, and click OK. And here it is. Good. Next, I need to constrain the distance from this center to this center, such that the circles are symmetric with respect to this horizontal axis. This is super easy. Simply click over here, then press and hold Control and click over here. Now you have selected these 2 points, click here and click on Constrain Vertical Distance. And since the total distance is 51, this distance should be 25.5. And click on OK, and here we are. Now the distances are properly being set, and we can continue further. Good. We can close this, and now we can extrude by simply clicking here, and then we can extrude by clicking here, and let's specify the extrusion to be 10, click OK, and that's it. Now we have our base, and now we have 2 gears, and we can continue. To create the assembly, simply click on this eye icon to make the base invisible, and let's now create the assembly. To create the assembly, click here and find the assembly option. Then here in the assembly option, click over here to create the assembly, and you will see that these 3 buttons are added. So after you create the assembly, you can click here to insert components, and if you click here, all the parts will automatically be recognized. So let's click on the base, since this is the support, and click here in order to fix the base. Good. Then click on pinion, and then just drag the pinion outside over here, such that we can make everything to be visible, and add gear over here. Let's move it somehow like this. Okay, good. And let's click on OK. And now over here you will see base, you will see pinion, and you will see gear. So let's start creating the assemblies. The first assembly we need to create, or actually the first 2 assemblies that we need to create, are the assemblies that will enable rotation of these 2 gears around their corresponding supports. So let's start doing that. First of all, select this top circle of this gear, then press and hold Control and select this top circle of the base, and click over here on Create Revolute Joint. And you will see what happened. This gear is aligned with this base, and if you click on OK, you can simply move this gear and the gear will rotate around its base. Good. Next, let's do the same thing for the main gear. Click here, then Control and click here, and then again click here, and you will see after pressing OK that you will be able to rotate this gear. However, the issue is over here is that once I start to rotate the main gear or the smaller gear, the rotational motion will not be transferred from one gear to another. To solve this problem, we need to create the so-called gear joint or belt joint. Okay. First of all, before we do that, let's now rotate the smaller gear to be approximately like this, such that the tooth of one gear is between the teeth of the larger gear. Good. Next, let's do the following. Let's now click here, select first of all pinion, press and hold Control to select the main gear, and then click here and click on Create Gears Joint. And over here, we are in the menu of creating gear joints, and we need to specify radius 1 and radius 2. To do that, go back to the base formulas, and over here, using this formula, you can calculate R1 and R2. In our case, R1 is 12.5. Consequently, over here, I will enter 12.5. And R2, let's see, is 37.5, and consequently over here specify 37.5, and that's it. And now if you click OK, you will be able to move the gears. So let's try it out, and voila, here it is. They nicely rotate one respect to another. Perfect. Looks really, really nice. Now, as the final comment, you can change the appearance of these gears. You can, for example, click on a pinion, do the right click, and you can assign a random color. And then you can click on this main gear, do the same thing here, right click, and click on random color, and you will have something like this, which looks really, really nice. Okay, that's all for today, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next video tutorial.